The part of life that I find confusing is uncertainty. I find uncertainty hard to accept and come to terms with. But one thing I've now realized is this is actually the good old days. But then I'm glad that I am now knowing and remembering that I am in the good old days. And it's just a reminder to myself to just be grateful for where I am at and be happy and enjoy the time, because I won't be here forever. And I don't know what would happen in the next 1 to 2 years, what type of responsibilities or challenges I might have. Moving on to the next prompt, things I have been thinking about. This would be more reflective and less shouting energy, but we're babes who talk about our emotions and reflect. So the first one is something I have learned recently, and it is to stop overprocessing things. Not every feeling or thought I have has to be unpacked and processed and overanalyzed, because I realized that it was doing me more bad than good. Previously, if I had a feeling, if I felt irritated, if I thought of something, I'm like, Zainab, why would you think this way? This is bad. Are you a jealous person? Are you a bad person? Or why are you still hurt? Why are you not over this thing by now? Why this? Why that? No, we shouldn't do that. It's not healthy. I'm learning that my thoughts are thoughts. They don't belong to me. They don't define me. They're just thoughts. You should read this book called Don't Believe Everything You Think. It has really helped me. I'm just learning to let feelings pass. The second one is understanding people's bad character and not letting it affect me. So what I mean is, if, for example, I know that you're a mad person, let's say a mad person comes to me and they're shouting at me, because I know you're mad, I'm not going to let it upset me. I'll just walk away. So with relationships, people have different personalities, but sometimes if we don't like a person's personality, we tend to let it upset us. That's what I do, because I'm like, why would you do this thing? It doesn't make sense. This is not how to do things. Why would you react this way or say this certain thing, or this is not appropriate, or you should have handled this better? But now I'm learning that is their own, that is how they handle things, and I shouldn't let it bother me. It's either I ignore or avoid the person, or if it's something that can just be, just leave it. Before I would get angry and why would you say this thing to me? But it's not worth it, because this is clearly who this person is. It's just left for me to avoid them. So those are the two things that I have learned recently. The next one is what I am learning about myself in this season. The first one is I'm realizing that I actually love exploring. It gives me life. It breathes life into me. I hate routine in the sense of just doing something constantly. I realize that even at work, when I am given the same task to do for a week, I feel miserable. I hate it. Even if it's something that I used to like doing, if I am assigned to do it constantly for a whole week, I start hating it. So that was when I realized that, okay, the reason why you've been feeling miserable is you've just been going to work and coming back and doing the same thing. No spontaneity. So now I'm learning, even in my day-to-day, sometimes instead of going back home from work, I branch somewhere to get bubble tea, and then I take a different route to my house. Makes me feel better. Instead of going back home, sometimes I go to the riverside and I sit after work, or on a random Saturday, I take a different route and I take a walk. Or normally I don't sit in the living room in our house. I normally like to sit in my room. Sometimes I just sit in the living room and have breakfast there. Or instead of sitting on the chair, I sit on the floor. It's just these little things. I just realized that I actually hate doing the same thing constantly. So basically exploring, trying new things, being spontaneous is what makes me happy and breathes life into me and makes me feel alive. That's it. The next prompt is a part of life that feels confusing. The part of life that I find confusing is uncertainty. I find uncertainty hard to accept and come to terms with. But one thing I've now realized is uncertainty is actually a part of life. Like, I cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it. I hate not knowing what's next. I hate not knowing what is going to happen. But that's life. We cannot always know everything. And I'm learning that I don't need to know everything to keep going. I don't need to know what the end goal is or how things are going to pan out. I just need to know what I can do now. What can I control now? And I need to go. Because if you look at it, a lot of things in life, a lot of pivots and things that people do and achieve, they normally don't see the end goal. They don't know how it would happen, what would happen. But then them believing in their discipline and having faith and believing that if they put in the right amount of effort and hard work, something positive would come out of it. And I'm telling myself, even the patterns in my life and things I've done and things that I have achieved, I didn't always know the end goal. So many things, I just put in effort and I prayed and they worked out fine. It's also believing that whatever outcome that happens in the future is the best and is the right thing for you. So yeah, I'm just learning to accept uncertainty. I have made a video where I talked about the lessons I've learned in my 20s. I think you should check that out. I was just journaling, you guys. You know, with journaling, you're just trying to express your emotions and remove things from your head. And I got to a part where I just kept writing. I learned that I swear to God, I'm not even lying. It's not this dramatic thing. And I wrote like almost 10 or more. Then I decided to make a whole video about it. So I think you should check that video out. And the last thing I have been thinking about is I don't hate this city as much as I thought I did. And this city is actually my good old days. I have this writing on my wardrobe that says, these are my good old days. And I'm living by this mantra. These are my good old days. The reason why I said this is moving to this city, I came to this city not out of choice, but out of situation, because I had to, in the sense that in Bristol, I was struggling to find accommodation in Bristol and my student accommodation had run out. I needed to leave. But then apart from that, it's not only about the choice. I have experienced so much emotional pain, heartbreak, abandonment in this city. So much has happened like emotionally in my head that I started to, like, when I go out, I started to just ascribe the city with so much pain and hate. And I don't blame myself. I don't blame that version of myself that did that. And that was because the things that have happened to me in my head in this city have not been the best. But now that I am healing and I am feeling better, I'm happier, I am coming out of my shell. I don't know, I'm just healing. There's this lightness in my head. And actually, you guys, this city is not as, Derby is not as beautiful as Bristol because it's Bristol, hello. But then it's pretty in its own way. It's this little town. It has its own interesting things about it. The more I'm being open to it, I'm saying that, oh, okay, this is beautiful. This part of the city is beautiful. They have these walks. They have these things. It's not my ideal. I'm a city girl. I love the city life. I don't like the small town life, but then it's not bad. It's not the best, but then it's not horrible. It's not as dim and dark as it was in my head. It's not all bad. So just going on walks and seeing things and also acting like a tourist and trying to discover aspects of it that I did not know existed has definitely made me feel better about it. And another thing, you guys, I was telling myself that, Zainab, back to the whole these are your good old days. When is it in my life? I don't know what would happen to me in the next 1 year, but then when can I just up and leave my house and just book a hotel with no children, no responsibility, no one, just because of an inconvenience, just because of like, if you look at it, no, literally, this is, and I tell myself, Zainab, so many good milestones have happened in this city. I got my first full-time paying job here. I can do what I want, travel. I look at it as literally the world is my oyster. My dad says it all the time. I can have the future that I want. I have the freedom to dream big, chase my goals, my dreams. What are those things that I want to do? Explore, make memories, experiences, live life, so much. And I can do that from here. You know, like, these are my good old days, Debbie, and I keep saying it and I'm staying long on this point. But yeah, I just wanted to remind myself and say it on this channel because I have a video on this channel where I talk about not really liking it here and not feeling like this was the best. Yeah, but these are actually my good old days and I'm learning to love them and enjoy them as I am in them, because I hate what even actually brought up the whole idea of these are the good old days. When I remember Bristol, I used to say Bristol was the good old days and something happened. I can't remember the switch or the shift. But I was like, this is actually the good old days. But then I'm glad that I am now knowing and remembering that I am in the good old days. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. And it's just a reminder to myself to just be grateful for where I am at and be happy and enjoy the time, because I won't be here forever and I don't know what would happen in the next 1 to 2 years, what type of responsibilities or challenges I might have. So I'm just enjoying this single life where I have the freedom to live my dreams and do and achieve things I want. Yeah, that's that.